Global oil production has witnessed continuous growth over time. Here's an overview of the leading 10 countries in terms of oil production. In recent times, the global oil market has been significantly affected by disruptions caused by COVID-19, conflicts over oil prices among oil-producing nations, and the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. The agreement on output control that was established between the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and 11 prominent global oil producers lapsed in 2020. Following a substantial increase in production in April of that year due to Russia's refusal to endorse further cuts proposed by Saudi Arabia. The de facto leader of OPEC responded by offering its products at discounted rates and boosting oil production. Amid an oversupplied market grappling with diminished demand, oil prices experienced an unprecedented drop into negative territory, surprising market participants. Eventually, with the influence of the United States, Russia, and OPEC reached a consensus to slash production by 9.7 million barrels per day, BPD, marking the largest single reduction in output in history. As COVID-19 lockdowns eased worldwide in 2021, oil demand rebounded, leading to higher prices. The following year, the escalation of Russia's aggressive actions against Ukraine caused oil prices to surge. In 2023, concerns about slowed economic activity due to rising interest rates and fears of a recession weighed on oil prices. In June, OPEC members agreed to substantial oil output reductions in July and to extend broader supply restrictions into 2024. Nevertheless, these supply worries have been overshadowed by projections of declining demand from China. Given these and other recent developments in the market, many investors are keen to learn about the leading oil-producing nations. Continue to discover the top 10 oil-producing countries in 2022, based on the most recent data available at the time of publication. The statistics are sourced from the Energy Information Administration, EIA, and encompass the total production of petroleum and other liquid products. United States production, 20,213,000 BPD. Securing the top spot on the list of leading oil-producing nations is the United States. Its production surged by 1,232,000 BPD from the 2021 level, reaching 20,213,000 BPD in 2022. The U.S. is often referred to as a swing producer due to its production fluctuations in response to market prices. Texas spearheads this production as the largest oil-producing state in the country, boasting output nearly 4 times higher than that of the second largest state, New Mexico. Beyond its prominent role as an oil producer, the U.S. is also a substantial consumer of oil. In 2021, the nation consumed a total of 7.4 billion barrels of petroleum products, translating to an average of approximately 20.28 million BPD. Saudi Arabia production, 12,144,000 BPD. Saudi Arabia, a key player in global oil dynamics, produced 12,144,000 BPD in 2022. Holding 17% of the world's confirmed petroleum reserves, it stands as the largest petroleum exporter. The oil and gas sector forms around half of its gross domestic product, GDP, and roughly 85% of its export earnings. As mentioned earlier, Saudi Arabia played a pivotal role in OPEC's decisions to curtail oil production both in 2020 and 2023. In 2022, strained relations between Saudi Arabia and the United States led to the country's reluctance to increase production, aiming to counter the rise in gasoline prices. In the current year, Saudi Arabia agreed to decrease its production by 1 million BPD starting in July. Russia production, 10,938,000 BPD. Before the production cuts in 2020, Russia's oil output had experienced consecutive years of growth, culminating in a production level of 10,938,000 BPD in 2022. The majority of Russia's reserves are concentrated in West Siberia, spanning from the Ural Mountains to the Central Siberian Plateau, as well as in the Urals-Volga region that extends into the Caspian Sea. Ranked as the world's third largest oil producer, Russia contributes 10% of the global output. In response to its involvement in the conflict with Ukraine, several nations, including Canada, the United States, the United Kingdom, and Australia, imposed bans on Russian oil imports, which represent approximately 13% of Russia's exports. In March 2022, the International Energy Agency, IEA, issued a warning that Russia might be compelled to cut 30% of its crude oil production, potentially leading to a severe global oil supply crisis. The IEA stated, "The potential impact of losing Russian oil exports on global markets cannot be underestimated." However, it appears that in 2023, Russia's oil exports have rebounded to pre-war levels, propelled by strong demand from China and India. Canada production, 5,694,000 bpd. Canada follows on this list of major oil-producing nations, with its annual oil production reaching 5,694,000 bpd in 2022, an increase from the output of 5,537,000 bpd in 2021. The bulk of Canada's proven oil reserves are situated in Alberta, with about 97% of these reserves categorized as oil sands. A significant proportion of Canada's energy exports are destined for the United States. However, Canada is actively diversifying its trading partners, particularly by fostering ties with emerging markets in Asia, driven by economic and political considerations. The construction of pipelines has ignited a national debate in Canada. In 2018, the federal government acquired the Kinder Morgan Trans Mountain Pipeline for $4.5 billion Canadian to guarantee the transportation of Canadian crude to market ports. At the time, an expansion project was projected to cost an additional $7.4 billion Canadian, following which the government intended to sell the project to the private sector. However, by February 2022, the estimated cost surged to $21.4 billion Canadian, reflecting ongoing cost escalations. China production, 5,119,000 bpd. China's annual oil output reached 5,119,000 bpd in 2022. The nation transitioned from being the world's second largest net importer of oil to becoming the largest net importer in 2014. As the second largest consumer of oil globally, China's soaring energy demand is fueled by its status as the world's most populous nation and its rapidly expanding economy. Approximately 55% of China's oil imports are sourced from OPEC member nations. In early 2022, China's crude oil refineries reduced production due to COVID-19 lockdown measures, prompted by the ongoing challenges posed by the virus. However, these restrictions have been eased over time. By May 2023, China's oil refineries ramped up production by 15.4% compared to the previous year. Iraq production, 4,553,000 bpd. In 2017, Iraq temporarily lost its position as the sixth largest oil-producing country but regained it in 2018 due to increased production. Iraq's oil output underwent fluctuations in recent years, falling from 4,788,000 bpd in 2019 to 4,149,000 bpd in 2021. However, the nation managed to elevate its oil production by 404,000 bpd in 2022, reaching a total of 4,553,000 bpd. Iraq boasts the world's fifth largest confirmed oil reserves, amounting to 145 billion barrels, equivalent to 8.4% of global reserves. United Arab Emirates production, 4,237,000 bpd. An OPEC member and a long-standing fixture among the world's top oil-producing nations, the United Arab Emirates, UAE, witnessed a notable year-on-year increase in production, reaching 4,237,000 bpd in 2022. The UAE possesses the world's eighth largest proven oil reserves, amounting to 98 billion barrels, with the majority located in Abu Dhabi. These reserves contribute to around 5.6% of the global total. Brazil production, 3,803,000 bpd. Brazil's oil production inched up from 3,689,000 bpd in 2021 to 3,803,000 bpd in 2022. Over the past decade, Brazil's total primary energy consumption nearly doubled, propelled by sustained economic growth. The energy consumption composition is led by oil and other liquid fuels, followed by hydroelectricity and natural gas. For the ongoing year, Brazil is reportedly on a trajectory to further elevate its annual oil production. The National Agency of Petroleum, Natural Gas, and Biofuels predicted that the nation could ascend to become the fourth largest oil producer globally in the near future. Iran production, 3,661,000 bpd. Iran experienced a remarkable surge in oil output, rising from 2,990,000 bpd in 2020 to 3,661,000 bpd in 2022. Despite being endowed with the world's third largest proven oil reserves and the second largest natural gas reserves, Iran's oil production remains significantly below the 4,779,000 bpd achieved in 2017. U.S. sanctions and regional disputes have impeded Iran's energy production sector. In 2021, China entered into a 25-year trade and security pact with Iran, urging the U.S. to lift its sanctions. Kuwait production, 3,022,000 bpd. Concluding the list of the top 10 oil-producing countries is Kuwait, another nation that experienced an increase in output from 2021 levels. Following a drop to 2,717,000 BPD in 2021, Kuwait's oil production rebounded to approach its 2018 levels, which stood at 3,059,000 BPD. Kuwait's oil and gas sector constitutes around 60% of the country's GDP and an even larger share of export revenues, approximately 95%.